AIT, sharing the African experience.
Whenever the word Abuja is mentioned, what comes to my mind is a well-planned city where everything works.
I feel that it's a perfect place, good road network, electricity, no power outage just like in other places, fat companies, a near perfect environment.
That city has developed so fast within this short space of time. If the pace at which that state has that capital city has developed, if the federating unit has also developed the same way, maybe we would have been far beyond where we find ourselves today.
Abuja is beautifying and they are still doing it, but it's not every area in Abuja. It's not everywhere in Abuja. Some area in Abuja they are still making like hamlet. The development doesn't reach there.
Our big people, they are running to Abuja to stay at Abuja, because if you look the states, if you look the roads, if you look their place, was very neat. Well, I would say Abuja is one of the nice cities in the Africa.
This is what most Nigerians think about Abuja, the country's capital city of over 40 years and counting. Usually, but arguably described by its administrators as the fastest growing city on the continent. And the citizens are right, because at some point in time, this city of their pride was full of promises. Today, however, the reality of the story is different. The streets are littered with beggars and destitutes, street hawkers, and also very worrisome is the increasing number of commercial sex workers hawking their bodies to attract a patronage. The beauty of the streets in the capital city is indeed fading away, even as the paints on pavements have also long washed off without anybody doing anything about it. In fact, most of the streets in Abuja, including the very major and popular ones, are without functional traffic lights, including the entrance into the National Assembly quarters in Gudu district of the capital city.
The night hours bring out the tragedy more often on the streets of Abuja, the nation's capital. We are here at the Banex Junction in Wuse 2 district of the capital city. And what we've seen are the absence of not just the street lights, but then the traffic lights. And you can see motorists trying to make their way out of the traffic that is being held up as a result of the absence of traffic lights. But then this is not just the scenario here at the Banex Junction. It is a common scenario across most parts of the city center, at the rush hours especially of the night, as it were.
Interestingly, the authorities administering and legislating for the Federal Capital Territory all know what the challenges are, but addressing the issues is what most of them do not want to talk about.
Abuja is the only city in Nigeria that is a creation of law. This is a fact which many of us as officials and even the cities tend to ignore. We will reform infrastructure maintenance system through the mechanism of infrastructure maintenance team in all districts to undertake prompt repairs and management on a sustainable basis, including landscaping, drainage repairs, street and traffic lights, as well as road maintenance. Already I'm happy to note that the team set up a few weeks ago to quickly look at this situation with the traffic lights have done a very good job, and this, I think, is going to be fully supported for continuity.
We discovered that despite the fact that hundreds of millions spent from budgetary provisions of the FCT annually paid to contractors for the maintenance of our street lights and the maintenance of all the streets and environment and the milieu of Abuja is not yielding any positive results. Abuja must be a city that will operate in line with the dream of our founding fathers. Abuja must be a city of envy to every other country in Africa. So we have given these marching orders to the security agencies in Abuja to clear all the streets of Abuja of these dissidents, thugs, beggars, and hawkers.
Straight Talk is the program, and I am TV. Tiav, welcome. The Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has a total landmass of about 8,000 square kilometers. In the master plan of the territory, 250 square kilometers of the landmass was carved for what is called the Federal Capital City, FCC, and divided into districts. Development of the districts is divided into phases, with phase 1 made up of the Asokoro Central Area, Garki 2, Guzape, Maitama, Wuse, and Wuse 2 districts. Okay, sorry. In phase 2, there is Durumi, Gadua, Gudu, Jabi, Jahi, and Kado, Dakibiu, and Kukwaba districts. The others include Katampe, Kaura, Mabushi, Utako, Duboyi, Dutse, and Wuye districts. For phase 3, we have the popular Gwarimpa 1 Life Camp, Gwarimpa 2, Wupa, Kafe, Burkoro, Kabusa, Kayama, and Lokogomba districts. The others include Dafe, Mbora, Karmu, Industrial Area 1 and Extension, Industrial Area 2, Institutions and Research, Galadimawa, and Piakasa districts. There is also Dako, Okanje, Wumba, and Saraji districts. There is the largest phase 4 that is grossly underdeveloped, with districts like Katy North, Katy East, Sheriti, Cheche, Wuru Pozoma, Buru West, Burun, Gidari, Bahagoro, Gwari, Buda West, and Bude, Jete, and Chafe. Also in phase 4 are the Pofon, Mamusa, Pito East, Gidari, Bohogo, Kagini, Kaba, Gwagwa, Kasana North, Kasana West, Sabo Gida, Tasha, Kasana East, Kasana South, Idagwari, and Idu districts. Most of these official 74 districts in the Federal Capital City, if not all, have not been completely developed. The worst affected are the districts in phases 2, 3, and 4. As of today, only 33 of the 74 districts can be said to have been considerably developed amidst the explosion in the population of the territory and the city in particular. Unfortunately, most of these districts do not have the required facilities and amenities, but maintaining those that have so far been provided has become a huge challenge for even basic things like preserving the designated green areas, maintaining the parks and gardens, and keeping flowers on the streets alive and well groomed to sustain life in the city and improve on the ecosystem. For those who care to listen, the authorities will always tell them that Abuja is the fastest growing city on the continent of Africa. Perhaps growing largely in population, But with the increasing number of persons in any community comes with its challenges. This explains why cities across the world develop strategies to specifically and continuously address the challenges peculiar to them, and indeed any other phenomenon that has taken global dimensions. As we speak, Abuja is not one of those cities doing so much to address its own peculiar challenges, except for the lamentations about helplessness which are common with authorities administering the territory. In specific terms, the Nigerian capital city of Abuja is grappling with the challenges of explosion in population, inadequacy of facilities and infrastructure, and the growing threat to the ecosystem as the human community practically competes with nature. For instance, it is on record that Abuja is not listed amongst the world's 100 resilient cities identified by the highly esteemed Rockefeller Foundation as having a strategy to tackle the physical, social, economic, and environmental challenges that are growing part of the 21st century. Africa has 11 cities on the list of the 100 world's resilient cities, including the southeast Nigerian city of ENUGU, which was admitted onto the revered global list in December 2014. Described as an emerging economic power, ENUGU is reported to be looking at implementing clean energy solutions and a new, more efficient road network to accommodate the rapidly growing population. The other Nigerian city on the list is the southwestern coastal commercial city of Lagos that was admitted into the Club of Resilient Cities on February 7, 2017. Renowned as Nigeria's largest city and cultural capital, Lagos is said to, with quote, recent initiatives, including private sector partners, already led to the reclamation of some coastlines on the island, providing a model for future efforts to protect Lagos's vulnerable shores. The other 9 African cities on the list of the world's 100 resilient cities are Accra, the coastal city and capital of the Republic of Ghana in West Africa; Addis Ababa, which is the home to 25% of the population of the North African country of Ethiopia; Cape Town in South Africa, renowned as the legislative capital of the Rainbow Nation; and Dakar in Senegal, where the battle against nature on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean has already begun for its 2.5 million people. We also have Durban, the South African city that is fighting the twin challenges of drought and coastal flooding and erosion. There is Kigali, the capital of Rwanda, that is still recovering from the infamous genocide of 23 years ago. Luxor in Egypt is also one of the African cities on the list. Luxor is Egypt's ancient capital of the Thebes. Nairobi in East Africa as home to 2.7 of the 48.3 million Kenyans is both the political and economic capital that contributes more than half of the country's gross domestic product, the GDP. Liberia also has its second largest city, Port-Nouvelle, on the enviable list of the world's 100 resilient cities. Like Abuja, Port-Nouvelle is said to be, quote, an example of a city on the brink of urban growth where there is still time to shape its evolution. Dying flowers and trees are becoming a common sight on the streets of Abuja, drawing attention to how something as simple as watering and nurturing of the plants have become a huge issue in the capital city. This is the nursery in Asokoro district of the city where the flowers and trees are groomed before they are moved to the roads and gardens. And it seems once they leave the nursery, these plants are left on their own to either survive or die, as is the situation now on the streets. Reliable sources at the Department of Parks and Recreation of the territory told us that the staff who are supposed to be on the road watering and nurturing the plants are now idle, as there are no trucks, tankers, or fuel in the few serviceable vehicles for the workers to move round and water the plants to prevent them from dying. In the last 3 years, for instance, the Department of Parks and Recreation has had only 686 million naira, for instance, in the 2016 budget for its personnel, overheads, and capital projects. In 2014, the same department had a capital budget to landscape the Umaru Musa Yaradua Expressway, popularly known as Airport Road, and then to beautify the Kubwa Suleja Expressway. Today, this is how these two roads look like. Just take a look. The only street in Abuja that can boast of glowing flowers is a section of the Ahmadu Bello Way in Area 11 of Garki District, just beside the office of the FCT Minister. This is what the section of the road looks like, and it is also the only section of this road where the pavement has been repainted. The pavement on other parts of the road and the many other streets across the capital city remain in the faded colors of black and white that have made the roads look dirty, even after the hard-working women who sweep them have finished their jobs for the day. The challenges and failures of the Department of Parks and Recreation in recent times are clearly understood. We sat down with the director of the department, Ali Ukele, who, however, has a different story to tell.
We are doing our best, we are watering. Maybe you have not seen our tankers on the road. We deployed about...
See the form of them die off.
Normally, the plants are... Even go to the town, you have a lot of trees everywhere. Okay? But once you see only few of them that have died, well, it's natural. It's not anything that you put into something that you get it back. So, well, some of them might have died, but we have also tried to replace them.
We're not only fighting with human influx, we're also fighting with the maintenance of facilities, the maintenance of our deteriorating plants that are getting too old and needed to be replaced. So the mandate is quite challenging, is quite taxing, and we are trying our best to put up to it. Termites on the road, if you pass it through the media, you discover that there are a lot of termites eating up our plants on the road media. We have already planned out the fumigations of those places.
The Ahmadu Bello Way, where the office of the FCT Minister is located, is one of the longest roads in the city center. And it cuts across 8 districts in phases 1, 2, and 3 of the federal capital city. The road, which starts from the popular Apo Legislative Quarters interchange on the boundary between Gudu and Garki 2 districts, has 30 intersections, popularly known as junctions, and also cuts across a road named after President Muhammadu Buhari in Garki 2 district. The Ahmadu Bello Way also traverses the Central Business District, where there is the Federal Ministry of Finance headquarters and the Federal Secretariat by the 3 Arms Zone. The road also serves the Wuse 2 district, where there are many businesses operating along with the foreign missions of some countries and stretches up to Mabushi, Jahi, Kado, and Gwarimpa 2 districts, where the single largest housing estate in the West African sub-region is located. Out of the 30 intersections located along the long stretch of the Ahmadu Bello Way, 12 of the intersections have no traffic lights. While for the 18 that originally had traffic lights installed, only 4 are functioning and in use for motorists, with 2 units of the functional traffic lights found in Kado district, 1 unit each in Gwarimpa 2 and Garki districts.
If there is no police, traffic people, if they are not working here, they are always causing accident in this road. We always get problem in this road, other we have a traffic jam on the road.
Traffic warders. So they are just helping. But if they put on the light, is better. So we just move because of night. Many times when they are not there, either they want to change posts or anything, it causes rowdiness. And before we gather ourselves, we need volunteers.
A lot of confusion. Do you understand? You see, like in junctions like this, a lot of people are confused, especially in the nights when there is no traffic wardens anymore. Okay, so that's the problems we face.
This is the capital street on the Ahmadu Bello Way, one of the longest streets in the capital city, and it's also the street where the office of the Minister of the FCT is located. One thing about this particular junction is the fact that about a year or so ago, these traffic lights were not working. But then there has been a replacement with one of those solar traffic lights donated by the Chinese government. The other 3 functional street lights on Ahmadu Bello Way are among the 74 solar-powered units worth 780 million naira donated to the FCT administration and installed across the city free of charge by the Chinese government, except, of course, for the scandalous 81 million naira spent on the monitoring of the installation exercise by the then FCT minister, Bala Mohammed. In the central business district of the city center, on the shoulders of the 3 arms zone, where we have the Federal Secretariat and the Eagle Square, a number of the street lights are seen to be on, but the traffic lights are out of use. This points to just one thing, which is that the problem with the traffic lights in the capital city is not just electricity supply, but also lack of maintenance by the authorities. This is also the story of the traffic lights at the popular and ever-busy Powerhouse Junction that also leads to one of the gates into the presidential villa, as can be seen in this video. For the volume of traffic at the Powerhouse Junction, police officers are compelled to use hand reflectors to direct and control traffic in the early hours of the night, up till about 9 p.m. before leaving motorists to the hazards of using the roads without traffic lights at the respective intersections across the city. Police officers that should have been deployed to other useful duties are drafted by the FCT Police Command to maintain traffic at the various intersections, with some of them usually seen idling away. Instructively, all the traffic lights still in good condition and functioning in the capital city are the 74 solar-powered units donated by the Chinese government at the twin light of the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan in 2015.
All the traffic lights that were formerly meant to operate on the national grids, we converted them because of the epileptic nature of power. As I speak to you now, over 46 intersections. Over 46 intersections have been vandalized in the city. Not that they have been vandalized even once, severally. Each time they vandalize, we replace. It costs an average of between 1.5 to 2 million naira to replace materials that are vandalized on each intersection of traffic light.
Is it that the FCT finds it difficult to, pick up some of or emulate some of this? Because we're talking about 2 years ago that the project was, the 74 were donated. One would have thought that, okay, this was the way to go for FCT. If we didn't have the idea before, at least we've seen it work, we'll pick it up. And why do we have to still look for another donation? Why can't we do it on our own?
I don't understand what you mean by why don't you have to do it on our own. Let me tell you why we cannot do it. You see, this is a grant. You get my point? And you know, infrastructure is very costly. Those traffic lights they are talking about now, one intersection will cost you about an average of, for what the exchange rate is now, it will cost you an average of about 40 million naira to do it. So if you times 40 million times 98, you can imagine we are talking about, if I'm not mistaken, about 4 billion.
The stakes are indeed very high for the supposed world-class city like Abuja, the Nigerian capital. This is the first of our series on how authorities in the city of Abuja fail to invest in projects that will address the clear challenges facing the capital city. And at Straight Talk, we acknowledge our partners' Media Dimensions for their support. Thanks a lot for watching. Goodbye from Abuja.